I get home.
My name is Brenda Edwards, and welcome to the Greater New Hope Experience.
My name is Deja, and I would like to wish Bernice Boyd a happy Father's Day. Dad, I love you, I miss you, and I hope that I'm down here making you proud. Keep watching over me and my siblings. Happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Simrel, and I want to give a shout out for my father, William Miller, who was the father and head of household of 12 beautiful children, and there are 10 of us living now, and he was a hard worker, and we all loved him so very much. I also want to give a shout out to my husband, my dearly beloved Chairman Garland Simrel, who I love so dearly. He is definitely a father who always gives good advice to everyone he meets. He's a provider, and definitely he gives wisdom out to us. And definitely the father of my children, Amber and Garland Simrel. So I just want to wish him a happy Father's Day, and I love you so much. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers across the world, but especially to the men of Greater New Hope Baptist Church, from Pastor, and I love you. Father's Day for me is a little different because I grew up with 3 dads. I grew up in a home with David Edwards, and so happy Father's Day. The last name that I have is from Eric McMichael Sr., so Lavelle McMichael comes from him, and then my biological father is Ronald Lamont Harris, and so I am the son of Ronald Lamont Harris, but I had the privilege, now I know I had the privilege, I don't know that I looked at it that way back then, but of having 3 dads, and they gave me 3 different qualities that I feel like I embody all of. You know, I was thinking David, he taught me how to drive. I was thinking Eric McMichael Sr. taught me how to invest in property and make sure that I had a strong work ethic. And then my dad taught me how to love unconditionally, Ronald Harris. And so I thank God for those dads, but more importantly, I thank God for Henry Schley, my mom's father, who was that grandfather / father, and he is the one who made sure that I had a strong work ethic, that I knew the importance of having integrity as a man, and he gave me the butt whoopings that helped to steer me in the right direction when I was on the path that would lead me astray. So I definitely want to say happy Father's Day to my grandfather, Henry Schley. He's 90. He's yet with us, and so I salute you, sir. And I thank God for the opportunity to be able to celebrate fathers. You know, many times fathers are underestimated, overlooked, and underappreciated. But this is an opportunity today that we're able to honor the men for the seed that they have that gives life, and for the role that they play in humanity. And so for that, I salute all of the men all across the world, and I say happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to my Ace Coon, Lavelle Michael Sr. I thank you so much for raising us to be young and powerful black men. I thank you for raising me to fear God. I thank you for raising me to know how to treat women. I thank you for the experiences and the things that we have been through. Thank you for taking me and my brother off the game for a week so that we have time to better ourselves and to be great. Thank you for always believing in me and always wanting me to do my best. I want you to enjoy your day, and I wish you many, many more happy Father's Day.
Hello, my name is Logan McMichael, and I would like to say happy Father's Day to my dad, Lavelle. I just want to start off with he helps us do everything, like cleaning house, he helps us, organizing, he helps us. He doesn't make us do it all by ourselves. He always helps us in everything.
All right, my name is Garland Jr. My dad is Garland Sr. And there's a lot I could say about my dad. There's so many words that I could say, but he's a great man. I'm truly blessed to have him as a father. And now he's a grandfather now, so all the things that he's taught me, and I can be a good dad now. But I love that guy, man. I don't really know what to say, but yeah, I love that guy. He's been a good blessing. So happy Father's Day, Dad.
I'm Jay Malachi. This is Jayla Dunlap. We would just like to say Happy Father's Day to Christopher Dunlap. We appreciate all that you do, and we love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures all over the world. From my heart to yours, we celebrate you today and always. It doesn't take a special day to celebrate who you are in our communities, in our homes, in our churches, and who you continue to stand firm and be. A special shout out to my father, Raymond Williams, all the way in Philadelphia. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you for all of the meals growing up and now. Thank you for the times that you juiced onions so that Tish and I wouldn't be sick. Thank you for the times when you boiled sassafras tea and you took us and held us on your shoulders and on your back. Thank you for those special moments when you and I would go to the March of Dimes and we would walk together and drink ginseng just to make it through those 10 miles. Thank you for all that you are and all that you continue to be. You often say that you never thought you would have children because you never thought you would make it home from the Vietnam War. And yet, God has blessed you to have children and daughters that celebrate you. You have been blessed with grandchildren that celebrate you. And it doesn't take a special day to tell you how much we love you, how much we care about you. Thank you for being a praying father. Thank you for a father that was always in the home and was present and showed up to our special moments. We celebrate you today, and I celebrate you. Thank you for the long talks. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for being stern with me. I love you and I appreciate you. No matter where I go in the world, you will always be my father. You will always be the one who stood in the gap for my sister and I and for our entire family. And of course, happy Father's Day to my wonderful husband, the king of our household. Thank you for being a presence. Thank you for engaging with our sons. Thank you for showing up to their games. They don't have to look for a role model in television, and while they might admire some folks, they can admire the dad that's right in their home and that's present. And so, babe, I love you. I thank you for being a wonderful husband, a wonderful father, a wonderful pastor, a wonderful leader, a wonderful advocate, a wonderful activist. Thank you for all that you do for all of us. Happy Father's Day. And last but not least, of course, all the Greater New Hope fathers, but especially there are two special father figures that stand in the gap every week through virtual services. Yes, Pastor Freeman and Deacon Cardo Grant. We thank you for all that you are, in your humility, for doing the things that you do, for being the creative geniuses behind our weekly services. Thank you for being men in the home and men of God. Thank you for all that you do. Happy Father's Day. I love you from my heart to yours. May you have the best day ever. May you be celebrated as the kings that you are and the leads of your household. I love you.
I just want to say Happy Father's Day to my father, Arthur James Hope Jr. Dad, I love you. I thank you for always being a great provider, always providing whatever we needed. Also, I won't as well, because I know you got me what I wanted. Before I turned 16, you had me a car. It wasn't an old car, it was a nice car. And I always thank you for everything that you've ever done for us. You made sure that we were in school. We didn't bring any grades home below a B. If we did, you know, we was in trouble. You didn't play about education. You always made sure that we worked and knew how to provide for ourselves, even though you provided for us. And I just want to say thank you for everything. Happy Father's Day, and I love you.
My name is Jarquez Boyd, and happy Father's Day to my daddy, Bernice Boyd. A special memory that I'll always hold on to is celebrating my birthday with my dad. Our birthdays are 5 days apart, and so we will always celebrate or do something together for our birthdays. And so, Dad, I'll miss our birthday celebrations, but I know that you're looking over us, and I love you and I miss you. Happy Father's Day.
Hello, I'm Samaria, and I'm doing a Father's Day tribute to my dad, Samuel Hairston. Thank you for being the best dad ever, regardless of what we do. You're always there. Happy Father's Day.
My name is Samuel Hairston. Happy birthdays to my dad, and also named Samuel Hairston. My proudest moment with my dad was when I had to go to summer school to go to the next grade. He was the only person that could leave, which was like to my grade level that he knew I could go to.
My name is Tiana Boyd. Happy Father's Day to my dad, Ernest. Thank you for all the memories and times that we shared together. You're gone but never forgotten. I will forever hold you. I love you. Happy Father's Day.
My name is Anthony Edwards. Happy Father's Day to Michael Edwards. I love you and thank you for all you do for me. Happy Father's Day.
Hello, my name is Serenity Barnes. Happy Father's Day to Samuel Harrison. Thank you for taking care of me for all these years, and I really appreciate you. I love you and happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Tracy Grant, and I would like to say Happy Father's Day to my dad, Clarence Williams. I love my dad very much. I want to let him know that I appreciate him, and I'm so thankful that we've been able to spend time with each other these past years. We've been going on vacations together, and I'm creating such great memories. And Dad, I want to say I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy Father's Day. Now I want to say Happy Father's Day to my husband, Cardo Grant. He's been a wonderful husband, an awesome dad, and I admire his leadership as being a husband and a dad. I'm so thankful for him. I love how he likes to show his kids and myself, show us everything about vacationing, telling us about history, and just being the most dedicated dad, most committed. He's really loving. He loves his kids, and he wants the best for his kids. And honey, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy Father's Day. I love you.
Hi, my name is Cardo Grant Jr., also known as CJ, and I would like to wish my dad, Cardo Sr., a happy Father's Day. I want to thank you, Dad, for just showing me different things in life, just showing me how to be a man, especially a black man in America today. I want to say thank you for all the love, passion, and affection you've shown me in my 20 years on this earth. I've always admired you, admired your work ethic. I've always admired how active you are in the church and how active you are in my life, as well as my sister's life as well. Some of my greatest and fondest memories of my dad is whenever we go to vacation for his birthdays. We always have a great time going to the water, going way out, far into the beach. So I want to say just thank you and enjoy your day.
My name is Cardo Grant, and I was so lucky and fortunate, and I've always known this, to be raised by two amazing dads and to have my grandfather as well in my life. So happy Father's Day to my dad, Jeremiah Grant, and Rupert Brown, who have raised me to be the man that I am today. And of course to my grandfather, Alfonso Saunders, who these guys have taught me so much, and I am a direct result of the hours of nurturing and support and love and just a wonderful upbringing. I have so many memories, so many fond memories with with my dads and my grandfather. I remember as a little boy in Jamaica. It was awesome living in Jamaica as a little boy. My dad, I would sit on his lap, my dad, and we would drive around. I was a baby. I was not a little baby, but just young boy. And to me, I was excited because the steering wheel seemed so big, and I would have to try to turn the steering wheel and change the gears, and it seemed like, at least I felt that I was doing it all by myself, but obviously he was helping me. I used to enjoy that as much, and I remember with my stepdad growing up as well. I didn't appreciate it then, but now I do. After school, every day after school, before we did anything, homework or anything, we had to spend time with him. And sometimes our friends would drop us off, and Dad would be outside waiting for us. And we would try to hide, but he would call us, and we just didn't appreciate it. But he was the first person we had to spend time with, doing stuff around the house, just talking and showing us new things. And I really enjoyed that. And my grandfather just taught me so much about just being a man. He was a very distinguished man. How to, position myself. We often spend birthdays together because his birthday was July the 8th, I'm July the 9th. So for us, the big thing, he would always say to me, grandson, no bird could fly on one wing. That just simply means that I need you, you need me.
Happy Father's Day.
No.
This is the day that the Lord has
Pastor,
made,
Pastor.
and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We're excited to be a part of this special edition of the virtual experience. And so I'm excited that you are here with us and that you're joining us. So please, this is what I need you to do. I need you to like, I need you to share, I need you to like, I need you to share. Listen, hit the share button in your comment section and share this to your personal page, because we want fathers all across the world to hear this broadcast and to be able to experience the words of love, the words of encouragement that we're going to give today. We're so glad that God will do a new thing, and we're going to continue to keep moving, because in the midst of it, God is he's on the throne, and in the midst of all that's going on, God is able to do exactly what he said he would do. And what I need you to do is like and share this broadcast. And through it all, we're going to make sure that we encourage the hearts and lives of men all around. I'm going to take it to Pastor Freeman and come back to you in just a moment. Go ahead, Pastor Freeman.
God bless you. We're so excited. And to all of the fathers that are viewing this actual broadcast, we're so excited about the broadcast today, as we have some great broadcasts today, and we're actually going to be getting into a very, very deep discussion on fatherhood, the state of fatherhood in America, and we're going to deal with fatherhood raw, and I like to say raw. And how about that? And we're going to come, look, no holds barred. We're going to be transparent, but we're going to also be relevant, and we're going to really dive deep into a lot of the things that we're dealing with as fathers in America, and how to deal with those things, but also we want to tear down some of the negative perspectives that we have as far as our fathers are concerned in our households. And so I'm actually excited to be on this morning with Pastor McMichael and Deacon Grant, and really the state of the father in America and really in the world. We see this across cultures, across the oceans or what have you, because we see that fathers are not the same as others. So we dive into that and find out, okay, why is that the case? Why types of things, even now, from a father's perspective. And so we have a lot of things. June, we've kind of the actual fatherhood throughout this month, and because this actual subject of fatherhood is so vast, there's so many different angles. We were discussing yesterday on Pastor McMichael. We were discussing yesterday about how vast this actual time. So many different Father's Day, but we need to discuss this on a continual basis, right? To really dive in and to really get that we heal. One of the things that I said as it relates to what I would like for people to get out of this conversation is really to go back and heal those old wounds, to really go back and repair the relationships that you may have with your father, if that relationship is not a good one. Because guess what? We don't have a lot of time, right? We're seeing, even today's society, we're seeing in this climate that we're living in currently, right now, we're seeing how important it is to make sure that we are fostering great relationships in regard to the people that are surrounding us, whether it's family, friendships, whether it's our and so I am super excited about being here, and I'm excited about getting into the meat of this discussion.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor Freeman. And we're going to just dive right into the discussion. We are excited. And like you said, we started yesterday. And some of the questions that were asked to us, we want to address today. But let me just say this. The Bible tells us in 1 John 4:18 that it is hard to love him whom we have not seen, but we don't love the ones that we see every day. And the Bible tells us, how dwelleth the love of God in us. And that 1 John, the 4th chapter, I want everybody during your study time this week to read it, because it talks about perfect love casting out fear. And I believe that as we talk about this subject of fathers and those, I'll say, absent fathers, because that's the language that has been given to us, those deadbeat fathers, because that's the language that's been given to us, that as we begin to love God, God will teach us how to have the perfect love that will cast out the very fear that comes into our lives to destroy relationships. And many times as we are progressing in our adulthood, as we're growing up from boys to men, from girls to women, we see a lot that happens in relationship. And one of the things that we wanted to do as a church was to show biblically and naturally how to honor and celebrate fathers. And it's hard. Somebody may be watching and say, well, my father has never been there. He's been absent. He has not been in my life. And, you know, there are people that we've never seen that we admire. There are some people that we've heard about. There are some people that we've seen and not ever met, but that we admire them. And we just want to change the narrative. We want to give a new perspective of how we can create relationships that are sustainable, relationships that are not based on feelings and emotions, but based on principles of the Word of God. Because Deacon Grant mentioned yesterday, how can we preach a gospel of a loving God the Father when we do not even love our natural fathers? So let's go right into it, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. What do you do and what do you say? And I was able to call one of my dads this morning early just to say Happy Father's Day. And I'm going to call the other ones when we get off the broadcast. But what do you say to those today who are struggling with Father's Day? Deacon Grant.
Yes, good morning and happy Father's Day to all the dads. Those individuals who are struggling, um, I just think pretty much like what we said yesterday, you just have to start now. Struggling doesn't mean that you're not, you have no interest. It's struggling for me just simply means that you just don't know where to start. And I'm thinking that yesterday we we gave you some tools on how to start. And if I could recap real quick, I think we agreed that you start by picking the phone up and just say, "Hey, Dad, I love you," and then let it naturally grow from there. Um, don't bring up the past. Don't accuse because there's two sides to every story. And just try to at least develop a friendship, and then you could move from there.
So how can so you say I love you?
Mhm.
I don't love him. How do I
Well,
love him?
I think you
Right?
do. I think you do love him. I think um, what happens is, and I love how Bible scholars will look at the word love and in the Greek and talk about all of this, the different aspects of a love. How what love mean? A love for a parent or a child is different than a love for a friend or a spouse. So love, that one word can. So you do love him, um, if nothing else, as your dad. Even if you just take away dad for a second, you ought to love him because we are commanded to love our neighbors. So just look at him as just a neighbor for a second. Start there and try to foster a relationship with him based on that, and then let it
Listen,
progress.
I need everybody watching this to like and share it because this information, this spiritual walk that we're, because this is a spiritual walk. A lot of times we want carnality to guide us.
Mhm.
And what Deacon Grant just said about love is a spiritual journey.
Mm.
That's why we're coming from First John, the 4th chapter, verses 18 through 21. If you look at it, you will see what we're talking about. And many times we want to pull in information about our past or about our father's past or about what we heard or about what we've seen. But what we're talking about is eliminating all of that. As fathers, we love them as neighbors. We love them as humanity. And that's a growing place. That's a place where we can start. And we have to start there. And one of the things that was mentioned yesterday that we have to start off with today is whether you participate in this process or not, this process will shape who you become as a man and as a lady. Fluid in different environments come from your ability to do the things that we're saying to do. And can I just say that it's not always easy? It's not always something that feels comfortable. But because of who God created us to be, and we're talking as men and women of God today that understand biblical principle, we understand God's love, and we have to start to reestablish the love that we have for our fathers, the respect that we have for them. Does not mean we agree with them, does not mean we understand them. See, we get these things mixed up. We get all of this stuff mixed up in order to not do what God has commanded us to do. And so I want us to go there for a minute. Why do you feel that people all across the world, why have they lost their respect and love for fathers? Deacon Grant?
Oh, why they lost their love and respect for fathers is, I just think as a culture we have been moving to that in that direction for a long time. I mean, people don't even respect black men today. As you think, I'm looking at some signs yesterday, just from a book I have about the 1960s protests. And I'm seeing men in Memphis having signs says "I am a man," and that same sign could be worn on some guy's chest today, declaring that I am a man as well. So I just think in society, especially in the African American community, men have been marginalized and devalued for the last 40, 50 years. And you think it would get better, but it's actually getting worse. When you look at how, you know, society is now moving to where it's not necessary in some cases for a woman to feel. There was a Pew Research done a while back. They asked college women, "Do you need a man?" It was like, "No, I need a cell phone more than I need a man." So I mean, it's this. So it's like this lack of respect comes from a larger culture that has no place for manhood.
Pastor Freeman, why have we lost it? What happened?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel that, over the course of the years, we really, the role of the man has really evaporated in the home. And I feel that's been, culturally as well as systemically. I believe that it's by design by the enemy, really, to remove the man from the lives of the children, to remove the man from the home, from the family atmosphere. Of course, we know that the traditional family has kind of expanded now, right? Because you have those that have blended families. You have those that may be getting raised by their grandparents or what have you. And so over the course of years, like Deacon Grant said, it's just kind of just fallen by the wayside. In that respect, there was a time when the one that garnered the most respect in the home was the man, right? Regardless of whether it was your home or someone else's home down the street, right? You knew that when you walked in that house, you was to respect that man as the head of that household. And we don't see that today. I mean, we don't see that. We don't see that respect. So I think on one instance, yes, it's been the evaporation of that role over the course of time from society, from a lot of the, I don't know, some people may not like this, but a lot of the women's movements, to say, hey, I don't need a man and all this type stuff. And it's kind of really got us to the point where we're at now in society. Where now we see, because of these things and because of the role being diminished, now we see a lot of this stuff going on. I mean, statistics show that when a man is present in a child's home or in their life, that their success rate goes way up, whether that's in school, whether that's their education, whether that's getting a job, whatever the case may be. Those statistics show, okay, they stay out of trouble, right? Those statistics show in favor of that because the man is a part of that actual family or a part of that child's life.
I need you to like and share this post. Happy Father's Day once again from the Greater New Hope Baptist Church. And I'm coming to you all the way from Philadelphia. Pastor Freeman is in Raleigh and Deacon Grant is in Jamaica. We wanted to represent where we are from today because we know that as we celebrate from wherever we are, there are men that are listening. There are men that are in the lives of women who are listening that need to be valued today, that need to be appreciated. And we really want to dig deeper into the conversation. Now, understand, children have no part in this. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I think it's important for me to say this, that our expectation as we're talking today is not that an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old does this kind of work. That's not what we're expecting. What we are expecting is those of us who have grown up, those of us who have matured, those of us who are professing Christ and salvific power, that we implement what we implement to those off the street, to our own family, that we implement that love that we give to a sinner, to our family, to our fathers. This is no means a responsibility that we're putting on someone who has not come into the knowledge of the truth or has been disenfranchised by what they don't have. But for those of you that are watching and maybe you haven't allowed the baby's father to see him or her, maybe you have not had a great relationship. Maybe that relationship was estranged for whatever reason. And what I don't want to say good reason, but it may be a reason why you cannot be in contact with him. There are ways in which you can still allow him, if it is safe. Understand, all of this that we're talking about is in context. It is with perspective, because sometimes there are exceptions to the rule. However, there are some times where we just allow our emotions to keep us from having effective relationship, and there's really nothing there, except for the fact that we're no longer intimate, except for the fact that I just don't like you anymore. And guess what? There are times that when people that love each other don't like each other. So we're really challenging the mindset. You know, I was thinking, we talked yesterday, and we have to say it again today, that we will have a role model in a celebrity. We will have a role model in an icon that we don't even know personally. And we admire one or two parts of them, but we don't know the whole person. And we see it all the time where we're able to admire individuals whom we will never get a chance to touch, that we will never get a chance to meet. And then we struggle with admiring a father whom we've never seen or whom we've never met. That's interesting. That's an interesting concept to think about and to unpack, because as we think about it, then we have to ask ourselves why. And after we got off the live yesterday, Deacon Grant, I began to say, why is it that we are willing to do some things for some aspects of our lives, but when it comes to fathers, it's a non-negotiable. He was supposed to know, he should have done, he was not there, he did not do this. But then when our jobs, our social environments disappoint us, we give them pass time and time again. Can you speak to the why? Why is it that people need to go deeper today? Why are we challenging them to go deeper based on 1 John? We're going deeper in love today.
Yeah. That is such an interesting question, because the dynamics of manhood, it's so complex. I think we talked about that yesterday a little bit. And, you know, I couldn't help but to think when Pastor Freeman was talking about when Dad used to be the head of the house, that persona, if you will, in the house. And if you like looking at these time periods like I do, you notice that at one time dads were probably, especially in our culture, a day laborer or work very hard on a dock somewhere, and moms typically stay home pre-1960, up to 1965. And dads would work hard all day, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. And he would come home, and it was the mom's responsibility. Hear this really closely, how this teamwork works here. It was mom's responsibility to make sure that dad had the biggest piece of chicken, because she wanted to support him, right? So like, you don't eat till dad gets his, because dad worked hard, and we got to take care of dad so that dad can keep doing what he's doing. So fast forward to today, when statistics show that more women are making more money than men in some cases. They have more advanced degrees than men for the most part. They're more they're more present in corporate America. So, here it is now for the first time, women are making more money than dads are. So it's hard for dad to come home and says, I'm bringing home the bacon. I need the biggest piece of chicken. I need the respect. To now, you get out of here. We fine without you, because and for us guys, our ego is so much. And for you to come home and says, I'm not worthy. it's hard for us to process that. So think about that. Think about the pressures of work. Think about the pressures of making sure that your family is okay, because I can speak for the three of us that we have a burning desire to make sure that our families succeed in all aspects. So that is a burden. And and of course, peer pressure, because guys, we also have to deal with peer pressure, believe that or not. So you have all these things pulling at us, and we're trying to navigate all these different aspects of our lives with little to no information on how to do it. That is challenging. So therefore, when we become not the dads that our kids want us to be, I think we have to factor that in as well and show us grace.
Watch this. There are a couple of things that I need to say. We're not anti-women. We're not against women.
No.
This is not that conversation. This is a Father's Day discussion. So don't say they're just jealous. No. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is how yesterday we talked about how men have been squeezed out of the conversation. Somebody asked a question yesterday, and I promised them we would get to it. How do men want to be appreciated? How do men want to be celebrated? How do men want to be acknowledged? And I believe that goes back to Deacon Grant's point about the chicken. When I was growing up at my mama's house, and she was married at the time, and he always got the biggest piece of chicken. And it was like, we couldn't go for seconds unless he was full. You know what I'm saying? And my mama said to us, you better get some bread, So it was a reverence that we were taught for him and his role. And I believe that that's one way to appreciate men is to reverence them in their role. And when I think about it, and I took a men masculinity empowered course at Wake Forest, one of the things we talked about is that men historically had the nurturing role. I know us intellectual and educated, we've come to a place where mothers are doing nurturing, but that was traditionally a man's role, to nurture and rear and educate children. That's what they taught them to do to become the adults that they were. So these roles have changed, but I want you to, Pastor Freeman, I'm gonna go to you first and then Deacon Grant, just give me a list of things that women, children, family members can do for you to appreciate you and your role as a father.
Oh, wow. And you know what? What's the crazy thing is, a lot of times that is it's kind of hard coming up with that list, right? Because us naturally as givers and providers, we never think about ourselves, right? We hardly ever think about ourselves as fathers, true fathers, you know what I mean? And so for me, that like what Deacon Grant was saying, that respect, and that's what I love about my wife and my family, is that she's always done that. When I step to the table, I don't have to worry about my meal. I don't have to worry about it being thrown on the table. It's stuff like that. It's like, okay, if I work hard, and this goes both ways, to be honest with you. If I'm working hard to provide for the family and to build the vision of the family, then don't treat me like a second-class citizen. You know what I mean? Treat me like you reverence me, you respect me. And for me, one of the greatest things that I love is when I hear people tell me, "Oh, you've done a great job raising your children," right? So be well behaved, right? The things that your mother and I teach you, display those things, right. And that speaks to me and speaks to my heart. And I'm the type of guy, I don't need much. You know what I mean? But I gotta have that.
Tell the people how to celebrate us, though.
Yeah.
Listen, this is not a time for modesty. We get it. We get it. What do you want to be appreciated? I hear respect. I hear appreciation. I hear reverence. Tell me some material things. What are some things that you want to receive to show that appreciation?
Right. Well, from that aspect, I mean, you always want to find out what does your father love? What is he like? What are the things that move him? My family knows I'm a technology geek, right? I love technology. So anything technology wise, Apple Watch, MacBook Pro, right? You know, iPhone 11 Max Pro. You know,
These things you have, bruh.
you know, stuff like that. I love iPads and stuff. You know, but that's just me. I love stuff like that. Even like just simple things like ball caps, right? Most fathers love that you wear hats or what have you. You know, what's his favorite football team? What's his favorite basketball team? What are the things he loves to do? I'm a music head as well, a musician. So anything dealing with music, you know, I would love. So find out what your father loves. What are the things that he loves to receive? We love, you know, I heard somebody say that on one of our discussions earlier this week, they was like, well, it's not about the gift, it's about the, you know, the thought of the gift behind it. But many times that is true, but it's also about the gift too. Let's be real.
The question becomes, if you just give them what you gave them, what was the thought behind it?
Right.
And Grant, what do you feel can be said, done to appreciate your role as a father?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so my love language is quality time. So to be honest with you, that's a gift that they know that I really appreciate as well. But you know, if you were to ask 100 men, do you want to be loved or respect? I think they're all going to say be respected. I think you show or you value men or the husband or your dads by showing a level of respect to him, because that's what we need to continue to do what we do. So I think respect. I like gadgets too. You know, I do like the technology stuff. But yeah, but for me, it's more of quality time as well. But I won't reject the
right.
I won't reject a new MacBook Pro, to be honest with you. But you know,
Actually, you shall see. For me, so I believe that my love language is words of action, and so when I'm affirmed, I feel great. When I woke up this morning, and my wife is really good at this, there are pictures of me and every single, and I wish if it wasn't tacky, I would take the camera over there. But you know, we're not doing that. We on CNN this morning. We ain't got time for that. But it's pictures of me and my children. It's pictures of me and mentees, young men and young women that I've helped along the way. And those are the things that I value. So for me, it's not, and I get it, because somebody said, well, I can't buy no Apple Watch. No. Find out what he likes and what he needs to keep going. That's what's important, because it doesn't take a lot of money. I came out the bedroom early, and my wife was in our picture chest, finding pictures. I didn't know what she was doing, but she was finding those pictures. That means so much to me. Quality time is good. These things don't cost you anything. I like my Nike sneakers, and I got on my Nike sweats. You know, they was talking about me. Dad always, at 6 something this morning, I'm opening up presents, because you know, and I'm put it right on. I'm happy, right? But I'm saying to the ones who are trying to figure out what do I do, the phone call will be great.
Right.
The words of affirmation will be great. Sometimes quality time, you don't have to know what to say. You don't have to try to make anything up. You can just sit in the presence of your father and dad to be with you today. I just wanted to hang out with you. Those are the things that are important, because we're talking about love. How can you say you love a God whom you've never seen and cannot see that same God in those that are around you? We have to, for church, to go deeper. I know this is untraditional church. This is unprecedented worship. But and in truth, the truth is I was hurt. The truth is I was disappointed. The truth is I did not have what I desired as a child. The truth is I was taken advantage of, or whatever your truth is. But the truth is, in spite of it all, if I love God, I know that all of these things have worked together for my good, because I am the called according to his purpose. And no matter what it is, it took me understanding God in his intimate parts, to be able to accept three fathers, to be able to accept surrogate fathers, and my grandfather. That my grandfather was my disciplinarian. He whooped my tail. No matter what role they played a role. And we have to learn how to respect that. We have to learn how to come into agreement with God. And I believe your relationships could be better. You know, don't be bitter, be better. Don't, people are listening today, and we've been taught, and Deacon Grant, I wrote it down so we would not forget. Have to talk about timing. Many people listening today and what we're asking to do. You're listening to why you shouldn't do what we're commissioning you to do through the word of God, which is love, which is not about feeling. It's not about true love one another as he loves us. And positive framing is the direction that we're taking this conversation as we come to a close. Gosh, it's never enough time. But why is it important for those that are listening to listen with the right ear? Because many people will listen and was said, we're not getting movement that mothers out of the picture. We need we're not pushing women out, women as well out of the home. See, the difference is these movements that go against something push the other. This needs brings together. You don't have to be married. You don't have to live in the same house, but you still need to be together in parenting, together in nurturing, together in rearing, together in discipline. There needs to be a togetherness. And then as we mature, as a 42-year-old man, I need relationship with my father in order to be an effective father. So Deacon Grant, talk to us about positive framing. You had a great point that you wanted to make with us today.
Yes. You know, we like we mentioned yesterday as well that you can't really we could keep going back to this. You just can't love yourself and not love and value your father or your mother. And when you rob yourself, I'm gonna use that word, rob yourself from that relationship with your father, you are starting, and this is very careful. This is very important. You are starting a downward trajectory in your family legacy for the seed of rejection from with your kids, because they're going to eventually reject you because you're denying them their legacy and generations to come. One of the shows that I like to watch too is Henry Skips Gates, Discovering Your Roots on PBS, and he's always talking about, you know, when he shows them a book and he says, how do you feel to see those names? You know, how does it feel to look at that and see your legacy? And I think when you're denying your children from that relationship to build that relationship with the dad, you are destroying your legacy. You're causing your kids to be bitter. They're going to be hurt. They're going to forget and lose a part of who they are. And what person wants to deny their child their fullness? And so keep that in mind. And if you're a single mom or a single dad, reach out to the other spouse as well if the child is young. And if you're older child, teenage years and older, I think that it's very important that you pick up the phone. Today is a very good opportunity for you to pick up the phone and just simply say hi, hello, and then talk, and then just let it foster, let it work from there. And if your dad is gone and you know where he's buried, you know, I would just go to where he is at his graveside and just spend some time there with him, because you need to complete yourself. You need that, because you think you're doing good all by yourself, but you could be better. and you're denying yourself that opportunity to do that.
That's awesome. Pastor Freeman, what do you want to say to encourage fathers today? How can you leave them words to feel valued and affirmed?
So much to deal with, so much to think about as it relates to our families, our children. And, like we always talk about, it's rough being a man, and it's even rougher being a father, right? And so, yeah, it's easier to just say, okay, just throw my hands up and forget it. But, I challenge those that may have a hard time or hard relationship with the mother to really reconcile that, right? I believe in reconciliation. Why? Because, God sent his son to reconcile us. So if we are believers and we believe in the God of the Bible, like we were saying at 1 John, a God that we've never seen before. The word tells us in 1 Thessalonians as well, I think it's the 5th chapter, it talks about knowing those that labor among you, right? And so we want to know those individuals. You want to know, like Deacon Grant was saying, because you don't want to have to deal with that rejection. We all grow. He was 20 years ago.
Right.
And he may have had some bad situations or what have you. He may have grown to be so much better now, but you'll never know that if you don't approach him and reconcile. Mm-hmm. Or you'll never know how great your daughter or your son is if you never say, you know what, regardless of what's happening with the past, I want to move forward because I need that in my life, right? There's a void that's going to always be there, and you may not see it. It may not up right now. 2 or 3 years from now, it may come. It may be 10 years, and you have that void, and you're wondering what is it? I see this relationship with my best friend, and I see the relationship they have with their father. I want that, and so you don't want to have to live in regret, right? You want to be able to say, you know what? Let's move forward from here. So I encourage everyone that's listening to the sound of my voice, and the other gentlemen here on this call, in this broadcast, let's do us a favor and reach out. Make that call today. And one of the points we brought out yesterday is, listen, you may feel like there's nothing that you can appreciate that's different. Because guess what? He gave the seed for you to even be here, for you to even view this broadcast. And so even for just that, you can say, Dad, I thank you. Right? Dad, I thank you. So I encourage you guys to really go out and let's reconcile these relationships, because it really matters, not only to your family, but to society as a whole.
So we got a few more minutes. I need you to like and share this post. Listen, take the time, hit the share button and put it on your personal page. There is a man, there is a woman, there is a child, there is a young person, there is an adult that needs to hear this broadcast today. So I'm asking you to put it on your personal page so that we can encourage them, because we want today to be a good day. There's a couple of things I need to do before we end this broadcast. There may be some of you, and I felt like Pastor Freeman, with your mouth, Jesus died and rose on the third day, you will be saved. The Bible says, goes on further to say, for with the heart one believeth unto salvation, but with confession he is made unto righteousness. So that as we confess one another, then that righteousness, that salvation is made manifest in our lives. So I'm asking you, if you need prayer, you can just text us. Our prayer counselors are standing by. You might be struggling, saying, I want to call. I don't know what to do. I need further guidance. Text us. We will pray with you. That number is area code 336-289-9211. So please text us. Our prayer counselors want to touch and agree with you. You might say, Pastor, I've had some things that are unexcusable, unexplainable. We want to pray with you so that you can continue on this path of healing to be made whole. So please call us. Listen, we need you to give to our church. Our virtual church needs your support. So there's always an opportunity for you to be a blessing. And we ask that you would cash app us, $GNHBC. You can give through Givelify and search Greater New Hope Baptist Church in High Point. or you can give the old-fashioned way. You can mail in your offering to 906 Meredith Street, High Point, North Carolina, 27260, or you can drop off your gifts Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Listen, this has been an amazing broadcast. We still have some more broadcasts. We have a picture montage that was done, so we want you to be able to enjoy that. But I wanted to make sure, listen, at 2 o'clock today, the man from Issachar is back on the air. And if you have not listened to Deacon Grant's broadcast, he is a historian. He was giving us some history. We're trying to get him to get his own show. This is the season anybody can be on television. And if he don't want to be on there, I'll bring him on my show. He has found some great historic music that I believe he let us hear a sample that you want to, at 2 o'clock, if you're not busy, come listen. I hope he'll do it virtually too, so that we can see him in action and see how he does it. And if you could just see his excitement, it's contagious. So at 2 o'clock, tell us it's 90.9.
To never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. That's your way. You always want a step behind. See, I'm with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. Yes, you were only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. No. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I could fly higher than an eagle. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but Daddy, 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 I've got it all right here in my heart. Yes, I can say, and I know you don't know. I know the truth. I know you know the truth about it. I know you know the truth now. I would be nothing, nothing without you. You. Did you ever know you're my hero? Yeah, yeah. You're everything I would like to be. You're a part of me. You're a part of me. I could fly higher than an eagle. Cause you are the wind beneath the old man's wing. One more time. Yeah, one more time. You are the wind beneath my wing. My wing. So Daddy, I remember you up on the stage singing your song now. That's why I used to take you and your brothers on the road. I used to carry all along. But now I'm glad we can stand up and sing it together now. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. It's so good to see your dreams come true, right here and right now, right now. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, unnoticed. sitting down. But son, I've got it all right here in my arms, in my arms, my heart. I want you to know that I know the truth. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I will be nothing, daddy, nothing, zero, without you. Without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? If you didn't, I'm telling you now, daddy, that you're everything I would like to be. My son, you're a part of me. I could fly higher than an eagle. Yeah. 'Cause you are the wind beneath your daddy's wing. I love you. You are the wind beneath your middle son's wings.
Hi, I'm Deacon Cardo Grant.
I'm Tracy Grant.
And I'm Cardo Grant Jr. And we love our church.
Thank you for watching.